my friends, it's Kristine Vicente, and I'm back again today at Queen City Stamp Art to share a Clean and Simple Sunday card using the Follow Your Art suite from Stampin' Up. So included in the suite is the Stamp, Cut, and Embossing folder, the button one, the button background, and then the stamp set is called It Starts With Art, and it has some wonderful images. And then the dies we're going to be using are part of the Arts and Crafts die set. It's this little ribbon bundle that we're going to die cut from white cardstock. So let's get started. So oftentimes when people see outlined stamp sets with outline images, they think, oh, I'm not going to get that one because you just have to color that stuff in. But truthfully, you really don't. I mean, you can stamp in a colored ink and it can be just as nice as if you colored it with markers. It just gives it a different look. And since I'm trying to keep the card very clean and simple today, I am not going to be coloring it in. I'm just stamping it and die cutting it. So let's get started. So for this card, we're starting with a white base card, white top folding base card. And I'm just gonna press down on the crease here. And I had dry embossed the panel, the white panel, using that button embossing folder by putting it into the embossing folder and running it through my die cutting machine. So I'm just gonna glue these pieces together using some wet glue. And then I'm going to glue it to the card base as well. Then what I did was I took a little scrap of smoky slate that I had in my little bin of scraps, and I cut a circle and then cut it in half, or almost half. And this gives the little ribbon bundle that we're going to die cut a place to lay, so it kind of anchors it. It'll also help to cover the sentiment strip. I actually should have done that first. So let me take this terracotta tile ink. This is one of the new in colors for 2020 and for 2019 and 2020. Stampin' Up! Has 5 new colors that they introduce into their color palette every summer when they release their new catalog, and terracotta tile is one of them. It's a very pretty orange. It's a little deeper than Calypso Coral, which I also love. So we're just going to put this here. There we go. I'm just going to let that dry. I'm going to set that aside while I do the stamping and die cutting on this. So for this, we're going to just take the Pacific Point ink, which is a beautiful royal blue. And I like to cover these so I don't get ink all over my hands. And we're just going to stamp this on the scrap like that. And then I'm going to lay the die over top and line that up. And then I'm going to take a Post-it note and stick it over the top just to hold it in place while I run it through the die cutting machine. And I've already done that actually. So I have this piece here. And so now we can attach this to the card base. So I thought to add a little bit of interest, we would use a thread, we'd make a thread nest today. So I'll show you how to do that. We're going to take a glue dot. Oops, right here. Take a glue dot, and with my scissor tip, and I'm going to stick that down here on my project. Then I'm going to take this thread, and I'm going to coil it up on 3 of my fingers, just a bunch of times, just to make like a little bundle of it. And then I'm going to trim it. And I'm going to take it off my fingers here, and I'm going to lay the ends into the glue, like that. And then I'm just going to kind of mush it around, and it makes this little like nest that's kind of anchored into the glue dot. Just make sure the ends are tucked in. Then I'm going to take the little piece here and add some dimensional adhesive to it, so it pops up off the card base. And I'm going to trim one of these so that I have a little one that I can put right here. Alrighty. And then, oops, one of the little tails came out, so I'm just going to take this and stick it in the glue. And then I'm going to glue this over top of the little nest that I made. It looks like a mess, but when you put the stamped image over top, it adds a really nice kind of artistic like sparkle. I really like the visual interest it creates by having those little shiny threads. Then I think what I'll do is I'll add one little sparkle, one of the bigger ones. Right here, just to draw your attention to the sentiment. And that's the card for today. So I hope you enjoyed today's Clean and Simple Sunday card. You can find all the supplies I used to make this card, including everything in the Follow Your Art suite, in the current Stampin' Up catalog, which you can also shop on my website at queencitystampart.com. Thanks so much for watching today. And if you have any questions or anything, just leave them in the comments. Thanks.